Right, it's on now.
Well, geez, just as I take a swallow. Okay.
Swallow.
Okay, guys. Welcome to Talking Jits and Giggles. We've had a couple of weeks off. Busy. But look, we want to thank say hello to our sponsors and people that we want to support. So we have MaviaFightwear.com. We also have the Neanderthal, Dan Wrigley Building, Open Palm Massage, Scorpion Supplements, 52%.
Yeah.
What else? Who else do we got tonight? I always miss someone. Burning Needles Tattoos.
Yes.
See, look at that. I got that one in there. So look, thanks to those guys. Look, if you can get out there and support them in Christchurch. And then probably there'll be a few people up in Nelson. Might be able to throw out a wee bit later on. Welcome. We have I actually don't know your last name. What's your last name? What's that?
Boland. Boland.
Boland, Corey Boland.
Yeah, it's the one.
So look, welcome. I mean, I went up to Nelson. Oh shit, it's probably a month or so to go now, and I had the pleasure to go and train with the crew there, and it was awesome to meet you guys. And yeah, like I said, I couldn't wait to get you on. So look, welcome to Talking Jits and Giggles. This is Bryan over here.
Yeah.
He's the one who's been contacting you and dealing with it. Look, man,
right on, brother.
Yeah, what we just want to know, man, is just about yourself. You know, where you started, just your journey through your life with a young fella and that kind of stuff, doing sports, bits and pieces, and then just about yourself and jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I started jiu-jitsu around 2009, so 11, 12 years ago almost now, up in Auckland at Douglas Santos Academy. Originally, I started training in a garage in Onehunga. So, I just had some mates who were training and doing Muay Thai, MMA, watching the UFC and all that sort of stuff. I just walked past that door every day for 6-7 months. Not for me, mate. Not for me. It was sweaty. It was grunty. They were loud. They were pretty OG type characters. It was a big hip hop type of scene. And I was just, I just did my office job, and I'd come past, look in there, and just keep on walking. And I walked past that door, honestly, maybe 100 times. And, then life sort of caught up, and a few things, I lost a few friends on the way. And I thought, shit, man, this ain't how life's supposed to be. So with the death of one of my friends, I just put the phone down after hearing that once. And I thought, well, fuck it, I'm going to do something positive out of this sort of tragedy. And I just went in that door and I started training, and man, I didn't stop.
Nice.
And I trained the first 60 days in a row, I think. I did that for a wee while. Just in my, I was lucky enough that I never went to a jiu-jitsu class. The jiu-jitsu came to my house. It was in this little garage underneath my bedroom. Hence, I'd get pissed off with the boys, wah, bah, bah, ha, hee, ha, da, da, all this, and literally they moved in underneath my bedroom, and things kind of rolled from there. And then eventually I thought, hey, I'm just going to go and do something positive with this. And I'm going to go do some training with these boys. And then after that, it was just a matter of, hey, come along to a class. Once I felt like, shit, this is a bit of fun. I went to a class, and here we are 12 years later.
Is that Douglas Santos's?
Yeah, I went to, just trained specifically at Douglas's for like the first 7 years, 8 years. And then 3-4 years, I just came back to Nelson and just basically had no one to train with. So I just trained myself and my friends, and I actually had to start boxing at one stage because there was no one to train with. So I thought, fuck it, I'll go do some boxing then. So I did that for a while, and slowly people just came in, so we started having other people to train with. And then did 3-4 years of that, just kind of doing my own thing, had a nice little crew of friends just to train with. And then lucky enough, Matt Gilbert's moved down here in the last sort of year or two, black belt under Pedro Fernandez, so Tukaha Jiu-Jitsu. And for me, it was just thank fuck for that, because I really needed a black belt to train under.
Oh, nice.
I really wanted the boys to, have a good, strong role model and know that the old school, traditional sort of Brazilian jiu-jitsu that I learned. And, that was just perfect, and it was just lucky.
Yes, coming from Douglas's, because there's a few black belts in that gym. Pretty solid.
Yeah, totally. I consider, I've got about 5 or 6, 7 black belts that I consider that were my black belt trainers there. Solid crew of people, some old school heads, some new school heads, lightweights, heavyweights.
Yeah.
It was a pretty traditional Brazilian jiu-jitsu fight center. I used to like doing the Friday morning classes, because that was just where the real heads kind of showed up, and man, it used to just be quite fun. I loved it. I love that sort of stuff, and I just felt that by training jiu-jitsu, it just kind of woke something up inside myself, and maybe even a cultural thing. Kind of my culture had been missing that. Always been a scrappy kid, always been down to scrap in the play yard, the streets, whatever it was. And so this game was like, oh wow, okay, this is cool. This is there's a lot of respect here. You get a good workout, getting away from all the bullshit and just do something positive with your life. And that's that's my flag, and that's what I represent.
Oh, nice, bro. So did you, when you started doing your jiu-jitsu and that kind of stuff, did you start competing, or were you a competitor, or?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I was straight into competing. I did, I think I did about 3 or 4 months just in the garage with the boys in Onehunga. Shout out to my old school Onehunga crew. And then I kind of had the confidence to, go and take a class. And, half of my boys from Onehunga were training at Tukaha, and the other half were training at Douglas's. And the only reason I ended up at Douglas Santos Academy was just whoever I could hitch a ride with that day, that I decided, right, I'm going to go to a class now. And just having that, they were going to Douglas's, so we go. And I think I competed probably within the first 3 months, maybe, competing ever since. Yeah, for me, it makes sense to compete, just to have that little end goal, push yourself a bit more, be a bit more healthier with your lifestyle, test yourself, have some fun. That's the blast for me. I love it.
So the 7 years, because obviously then you went up, come down to Nelson, but for that 7 years, you actively competed a fair bit. Did you ever travel or do anything like that with it, or?
Just pretty much New Zealand, just the local tourneys, Auckland mainly. We were lucky enough to be in Auckland when the Abu Dhabi trials were coming to Auckland and stuff like that. Traveled to Australia a couple of times, did Abu Dhabi over there as well. And just in-house comps, and managed just to always get a few comps in each year. I did a couple of degrees as well, uni and work and stuff like that, but always managed to just get lucky enough to get a couple of comps in. Some good throwdowns, and I like to try to inspire other people to do the same thing. So I'm not the type of coach to just tell you about it. I'll walk it with you and show you about it, and that's kind of how it goes down.
Oh, I forgot Douglas did the Abu Dhabis. Who because it was Adam Johnson won the blues and got his purple.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Adam Johnson's a good friend of mine. Obviously, we trained a bunch of years together. Amazing mind for jiu-jitsu. Obviously, Israel Adesanya's jiu-jitsu coach, super low key, no one even knows. Fought Adam a couple of times. Yeah, maybe 3 times even, I can't remember. But I came up with Adam as well. He used to pick me up at 6 a.m. and we'd go do classes, all that sort of stuff.
He's strong for a wee fella too.
Oh yeah, that Dunedin crew is just famous.
Oh,
man.
the fudge dudes.
I just couldn't believe it. It's like, I was just like, where did you come from, dude? Coming from the south, I thought I was, the South Island guy up there, but there's Adam, just out of nowhere, just killing it.
He was with Hayden at the academy for a bit. Before he was good before he went to Dunedin. That was the craziest part. He just got way better.
Yeah. Not surprised.
So do you, now that you're coaching and you're under Tukaha and that kind of stuff, and you've got your head coach in there, are you still keen to compete a fair bit now? There's more and more comps happening within the South Island, which is not so far to travel, but you're middle of the country pretty much. But are you going to look at competing a wee bit more?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I just see it as the same. It's just one big thing for me. It's always a competition. There's always a competition at the end of the road of the training. I don't know if I'd push myself to train as much if I was just kind of, going through the movement. So for me, it's just, I mean, I love the scrap. I love the just scrap part, you know, just scrap, just keep it simple, have some fun, just scrap. Yeah, man, I love that whole Hawaii, you know, hang loose style. And yeah, it just makes sense to me. You know, I don't always get a good, you know, I don't do all the right things leading up to the comps all the time as far as strength and conditioning, and I can't take out all the time I'd like to. So sometimes it's just like, you know, I trained 18 minutes this week, let's go for 18 minutes of fight time down. And that's literally happened a few times, you know. I've literally, you know, trained as many minutes as I fought on the weekend, you know, just when I was struggling for training partners and that sort of thing. But yeah, now we've got a good group of people. I've got people to push me a bit harder, and so we're just yeah, always down to scrap.
Oh, nice. Are you guys coming down to Christchurch then?
Yeah, I think there's a few of us. Yep, I know Jim. Our blind grappler is signed up, so he's ready to go. He's always he's super motivated. And again, and it comes back around. You know, at first I kind of motivated him, and then now he signs in, so he ends up kind of motivating me. So you know, and he's a blind grappler, so you know, I can't. You know, it's just if he can do it, I can do it. You know,
there's no excuses.
You know? No excuses, man. Exactly. But of course, you know, he's a bit of a weapon. So.
How do you feel the scene in Nelson has come along since you've been back in the last 4 years? Not just with you, but just in general.
Yeah. Man, it's definitely grown. It's still a little bit, you know, cliquey. There's probably too many small groups doing small things here and there. But man, who cares? It's just like, it's really cool. It's a cool vibe of a city, city, you know, it's a cool sort of beach, river, mountains, lakes type of town. You know, mountain bikes are big here. So it really just fits in kind of perfectly with the whole lifestyle of it. There'll be some good fighters coming out of here in no time at all. And, you know, it's really cool. I always catch up with those guys out in the competition fields and that, and you know, it's always all love and it's always all support. I've cornered all of the fighters from here, from all the other gyms. I've cornered them, and they've helped corner me, and we've, you know, recorded each other's matches and fling them around. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
You guys cross over for open mats or not yet?
Yeah, a lot of them do. Yeah, a lot of them do. I don't really do a lot of open mats. I don't know why. I get enough training in as it is. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, there is a bit of open mats going on, of course. Yeah, there's plenty of training to be had. You know, if you want to get real serious, you could put in a bunch of hours. It's just blocking out the time
which is quite cool, because I mean, I have travelled to Nelson a few times and used to train with Owen Sweetman. Yeah, Owen Sweetman every now and then. But that was the actual only official school though back then. And now I think there's potentially 3.
Yeah, there might even be 4. I don't know.
Yeah, there could be. I don't know.
Yeah, my BJJ, and then I think there's still Owen's one as well somewhere.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, like I say, I don't know, but you know, for such a small place. Yeah, but for such a small place, it's like, wow, you know, just, you know, when you think of Nelson, if people haven't been to Nelson, it's probably a suburb of Auckland. Half a suburb, maybe. Half a suburb.
It's exactly why jiu-jitsu will be is so perfect here, because there's not too many things to do. There's, you know, it's one of those things you can actually put in your calendar. Sweet, I've got something to do this week. Boom, 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 boom. You know, you just edit it. You know what jiu-jitsu is like. You go to 1 class, the next thing you're going to 2, and now you're going to 4. You know, and shit, there goes the weekend. You know.
How many days a week do you guys train?
We're training about 4 days a week at the moment. Just the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So just the day on, day off, day on, day off.
Yeah.
Then we've got a Saturday class as well. And actually we're just starting up a females class on Tuesdays as well. So 4-5, sort of.
Wicked.
Yeah. No lunch times at the moment, but getting there.
Sweet. I just had my trip to Nelson confirmed, so I fly out on the 20th. So I'll better roll in.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, for sure. And that's the other cool thing about it, man. That's what it's about. You know, it's you know, I'm a bit old school with some of my, you know, thinking on jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. Just came up with an old school crew with an old school OG type of team, and you know, I think, jiu-jitsu might have forgotten some of the rules of judo, and one of them was pursue friendship, you know, and I'm big on that, you know, pursue friendship everywhere you go, you know, that's it raises everyone's game, makes it a bit of fun, you know.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I mean, because that's, I love meeting people, like everywhere I traveled and that kind of stuff. It's just meeting new people, and just, yeah, it's just that cool vibe. And then you just, from there, you can build friendships and relationships, and, you know, and so, yeah, and then the clubs start interacting, and yeah, I think it's really, really cool. What do you do outside of jiu-jitsu?
I've just had a little baby about a year ago, so she's just 14 months. So a lot of daddy daycare at the moment. And I work online in financial markets. So I'm just working with some financial stuff at the moment, and looking to get into property as well. So that's kind of what I'm aiming at doing now. I'm sitting in this big warehouse building at the moment that I've just kind of started to wonder what the fuck I'm doing with. So yeah, just working in the financial markets, trading and stuff like that.
Is that what your degree, when you said you got a couple of degrees, is that what your degrees were in with it?
No, I did an exercise science degree, so yeah, which I did within jiu-jitsu as well. So, you know, that's kind of, but that's more of my passion, hobby. And then with Bubba coming along, it's a bit more important to, you know, get some investments running and try to make some money and, you know, continue to escape the rat trap.
Start to be an adult.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly right. But I'm lucky enough that you know, that's been a dream of mine for a wee while. Something I've slowly worked towards, and you know, I'm surviving out here, still doing it, and I'm pretty happy the way it's all sort of working out slowly.
Did you play any other sports, mate?
Originally, rugby. Rugby was my thing when I was, you know, young fella up to 16. Just rugby, lots of rugby, and then skateboarding took over my life. You know, 13 onwards, I skateboarded for about 10 years pretty competitively, semi-professional type skateboarding, you know. So so it was, so when I started jiu-jitsu, my only real idea of, I was trying to jump the obstacles. So I thought, well, skateboarding's a martial art, right? You know, so I convinced myself that skateboarding was a martial art. So I was like, all right, skateboarding is a martial art. I've done 10 years of that. Sweet, that's 10 years of martial arts practice. And then I was like, oh, rugby's a grappling sport, you know. Oh, sweet, done a bit of that. Then I just kind of melded it all together. And lo and behold, you know, they do actually connect up.
To be fair, skateboarding, when you translate it, is very similar. Like it's a set move, but everybody does it differently. Like, I don't know anyone that does a kickflip the same.
Yep.
So, no, I've never looked at it that way. That's what's well done.
Even just straight up from the way you stand at stance, you know, is your left foot forward, is your right foot forward, you know, from that, you know, which way you are. You know, you got you know, boxing stance and your skateboarding stance are pretty much the same thing. I kind of use my boxing stance in my jiu-jitsu as well. So you know, and then I realized, you know, 180 is a 180, 360 is a 360, and you know, this kick is actually a sweep, and yeah, it's all in there. It's all in there. You know, you learn to bail. I already knew how to bail, which was you know, break falling. And the other funny thing was the mats were real soft to me because I was just used to hitting concrete, man.
There's no stones either. You gotta just sweep the stones out of the way.
Yeah, so, you know, a big judo throw on that was like, oh yeah, it's all right.
Bounce.
You know,
a good bounce.
Didn't have too many of those barriers, you know. I was like, yeah, cool, this is fun, I love it.
Hey, with your time in jiu-jitsu, like, how have you felt that it's grown? You know, obviously you've seen a wee bit over the last 11 plus years. How do you feel that you've seen it progress or change, or just in your opinion?
Man, I think personally, I mean, I'm part Māori myself, so I kind of look towards that culture a lot, and I can kind of see things that have helped the culture a lot as far as just New Zealand culture, but also Māoridom. I see a lot of Māori boys, Islanders, you know, Pākehā, just latching onto it and realizing that, hey, this is something we probably used to do. This is something we definitely should be doing. And now you're seeing people come through and just being like, taking the ball and running with it. So I think it gave back to the New Zealand culture as a whole. I think it really gave some mana back to the kids that were getting, you know, just had that fight in their heart, but they weren't getting to fight, you know, or grapple, or, you know, so I saw it pick the culture up a little bit and, you know, give it a bit of mana and bring a bit of respect back to actual the grappling arts, you know, fighting's not just stupid. It's super intelligent. It's hyper aware, you know, and I see that as, you know, I imagine it's been part of the culture for millennia, you know, and I just see that as being important, you know. Look at Steve Oliver's team, freaking huge, and you know, the haka, you know, the hakas are some of the coolest you'll see online.
Massive, yeah.
You know, and I think, yeah, just that. I think it just gave back a little bit of that mana to the people that needed it, which is exactly what happened to me.
Oh, nice, bro, nice. So, when you have competed, man, is he like is he one of those memorable competitions or memorable fights that you've had that you just thought, shit, this was cool, or a person that you know that you always come against and you've got this like little rivalry, but not rivalry, if you know what I mean, but just that little, you know, he's got one up on me.
Competition.
Hardy competition.
Yeah. Man, to be honest, the one that always sticks out for me is just I think I was blue belt Abu Dhabi. I think it was just a second place medal. I think I lost in the finals, but there was a win coming through that, I think it was like maybe a 15 second RNC win, which was really important for me because the TV cameras were there. It was on freaking Abu Dhabi TV. It was, you know, all this sort of thing, and I was like, oh man, I think it was a rematch coming up. But a year before that, I'd been wanting to compete in those trials, and I broke a lung, so I busted my lung. So I didn't get to compete that year. And I remember sitting up in the hospital room and looking over Auckland and thinking, oh fuck, man, if I get one more, just let this fix itself up and let me just get back to doing jiu-jitsu, because I only just getting this ball rolling, you know. And I thought, you know, I remember thinking, fuck, my career's going to be over in the first year. And then, you know, 2 years later, I was back there again, and just, you know, got to have that moment where it was like, you know, got the win, big hug with the coach, realized that I'd made it all the way back from, you know, major injury. Israel Adesanya was sitting there, you know, throwing up the hooks to me, and it was just like, fuck, that was a good one. And then the next week, because I was at CKB at that stage, first sort of 4 years we were training at CKB. Douglas was in CKB, so that's how I knew Israel and all those boys. And I remember just thinking, that Monday when I come back to the gym, everyone was just cracking up, oh, bro, what's up? You know, like, and I was like, oh, you know, and it just kind of changed that direction, you know. Felt the momentum pick up a little bit. So I'll always remember that one.
Talking about your injuries, what kind of any major ones, or have you had some major ones? Obviously you did have one before, but you know, through your career.
Yeah, that well, that's what you call a spontaneous pneumothorax. So that just happens.
Oh, I knew that.
Spontaneous.
Yeah, man, no, I knew that. Yeah, sweet ass.
Yeah, so that's actually happened. That's happened to me a couple of times, to be honest. Happened again about 3-4 years ago. I hope my team remembers that I come back from this one again. So it happened again. It's just just lung goes dank and shit, it's no good. Funny thing about that one was it happened again. So again, I was kind of this thing like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this game. You know, it's pretty bendy and getting stacked, and you're in all sorts of, it's probably the worst game you could be playing with this sort of injury. But so after I sort of come on to my rehab for that, I thought, fuck it, I'm going to sign up to the judo class and absolutely smash. Yeah, that was the plan, man. Get absolutely smashed. And if we stay good, we know we're 100, because, you know, you don't want that little lingering thing in the back of your mind. And, you know, lo and behold, when I did my judo for 6 months or something, and then bang, 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 got absolutely crashed and smashed and stayed good. So I just got the confidence back to just keep on running, you know, keep going with it.
Were they your only injuries though?
Yeah, I almost lost my eye at one stage. It was just up in here.
Who do you train with, man?
I know, Rob.
Broken lung a couple of times. Eye gone.
Honestly, that was just a stupid one. That was
Khabib.
Just passing guard and stand and pass, and then just got a toenail bang right in the frickin' eyelid. You know, and I kind of woke up, and I remember waking up and looking down at the mats and just blood pouring through my hand. I was like, oh, that's not good.
That's not normal.
But hey, you know, coming from that skateboarding background, man, it's it's just, patch me up, doc. Let's keep on. We're only just getting started.
That's the worst that can happen.
Yeah, exactly. There are injuries where you have to really think about calling it quits. So you just got to sort of take your time and rehab yourself and get your mind back in there. And if you can, go again.
Oh shit.
Outside of those were the three ones that were major setbacks, that I can remember.
Chest explosions and eye gouging. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Everyone else is whinging because they bent a fingernail back.
Yeah, man, but that's the extreme sport mentality. I think I probably wouldn't do it unless it was dangerous. I mean, that's why I like skateboarding so much. It's like there's times where I was like, hey man, because if you're on a big set of stairs or whatever, you're at the end of this tunnel. There's only you, and there's literally you on your skateboard. There's people have disappeared now. Tricks to come. You fuck this one up, you're gonna land on your head and off to A&E, whatever it is, and it just gets that nice little lonely place. It's the lonely place, and it's the same as when you come in on those competition mats. It's that you just get in this nice little lonely place, and it's all on you, and you say your prayers and throw down.
Big risk, big reward.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, and just the world just quiet. You have to just quiet everything down and get your heart rate under control, and realizing you're there because you want to be there. And and I found if you can just actually not hesitate, you're good to go. It's all the doubts, you got to get them out, and then you can go again.
So I'm assuming outside of jiu-jitsu, skateboarding is your hobby, or do you play Scrabble? Or do you... I
do play Scrabble. I'm pretty good at Scrabble, actually.
Yahtzee.
Fairly unbeaten. Yahtzee's a good one. I love my dice games. Love my dice, man. I love rolling the dice. Skateboarding. Exactly what. Skateboarding's one of those ones. I've just done it forever, and it's just a cool thing to get into. As far as culture goes, I see jiu-jitsu culture is very similar to what hip-hop culture is, or was, or is. Skateboarding culture is very similar. It's those little niche cultures that kind of impact the world, and they start in the corner over there, and then they just build, and then the next thing you know, you've got a full-blown movement. I mean, hip-hop is probably the biggest one. It just starts in the Bronx back in the 80s or whatever it was, and just a small select group of people, probably 5 people doing it, and then look now, you've got Spotify, and the whole world's just changed off music and lyrics and all this sort of thing. Skateboarding culture is exactly the same. Starts out with a few characters shredding bowls or whatever it was over in California. And, look at these clothes we wear now. Every single person on the planet wears hoodies and, streetwear. Is all skate culture, I see jiu-jitsu as the same thing, it's like, it's this health culture now. It's kind of ego death, if you know what that term is. People talk about it a bit in the health communities these days about how they like to go to jiu-jitsu because they get smashed and that's not their normal way of life, And I think that's really good for some people,
Well, I think it's good for everybody. And like you were saying about bringing, for the people who don't get to scrap when they should be scrapping, and it brings back mana, people need to do it because you need to not win all the time. You need to learn that there is losing and then there's moving forward. And it's fine to not be winning.
That's right. Exactly it, man. Exactly it.
Don't celebrate losing. I mean, I don't want a participation certificate. I want to try and win. But you need to learn that there's time at the bottom before you climb that ladder. And even at the top of the ladder, you got to step back and back up again.
And it's the losses that make the win great, It's all those beatdowns that make that little win good. I see it with the white belts and the blue belts and stuff, and they get their first arm bar, or they get that first submission, and you see it in their face, and it's just like, oh, they just realized that they're actually capable of way more than they thought they were capable of, and it's those little micro improvements, and they lead into the macro,
Hey, when you do you watch a fair bit of like jiu-jitsu and that kind of stuff, or if you do, especially with like you and Who's Number One and all that kind of stuff, do you like watching jiu-jitsu? Do you like watching instructionals? Is there someone out there that you like to, I don't know, build your game around? I watched a wee bit of the old, I snuck it in today and watched a wee bit of the old Pan Ams.
I was about to say,
oh man,
that's
the
so
blue
ridiculous.
belts are cool.
He tried to
was
do that. It's like, cool.
Oh man, he was like, wake up, what? Anyway, getting back to that one, we'll come back to the Pan Ams later.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there someone that you like to like emulate your game around, or you just free and open?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I stopped watching movies and TV and drama series about 11, 12 years ago, and I just started watching jiu-jitsu videos from there. It's like, you know, man, I'm obsessed with watching jiu-jitsu videos. I have been for a long time. It's funny because, you know, I'll see people watching their favorite drama show and they'll, you know, do the whole binge watching and all that. And I'm thinking, yeah, but at the end of that, you know, once you get some entertainment, you know, but I could have spent that time learning arm bars, you know, like that would improve my game that much better, you know, like I see it as actually productive. I see it as productive to watch videos and that.
Study.
Personally, I like watching the lightweights. You know, originally Cron Gracie, loved watching Cron Gracie's game or lack of game, you know, just as his kind of antithesis to what everyone else is doing. JT Torres, and I've been watching him the whole time, you know, the last 11 years. He's been a savage since I started. JT's the man. I love his attitude as well. You know, Tommy Lannick, like watching him lately. I like the fact that he just comes from a little gym in the middle of Norway or wherever it is, and that they just became world champions, you know, and it just gives me that little bit of motivation to know that, you know, yeah, you don't need much, man. It's like I really dig the small clique vibe where they stay loyal to this little crew of people and then they take it the whole way. I think that's cool. I think it's important for people to know, you know. I mean, Conor McGregor was, you know, that. Jose Aldo's that, you know, these people that just got this little crew of people together and they just hashed it out, you know, and they just made something of themselves.
Yeah. Langika's a bit different.
Amazing.
We talked about Langika in an earlier podcast, and I watched heaps of his stuff, but I try and copy him, and I don't understand what he does. Doesn't work. It shouldn't work, but it fucking does.
Yeah, he's brilliant on that with the Michael Musumeci show as well.
Oh, what? Sorry.
He's brilliant on that flow grappling one that they do, the podcast.
Oh, him and Michael
Musumeci.
Hey, Michael's fighting in the heavyweights.
Yeah.
I was like trying to look through it, man. There's some pretty, especially in the black belt division, there's some pretty sick dudes coming through. Obviously, this is probably the major competition for the year anyway.
It's the first one.
Yeah. Well, no, there's been heaps. There's Austin. I watched Austin last week. I think it was Austin.
They cancelled a whole lot. I haven't even been looking.
I see, I watch. You normally look off my one anyway.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, but the pans, there's some cool ones. But I watched the blue belts today, and like you just watch these guys and girls and that kind of stuff, or ladies, and
Savage.
Unreal blue belts.
Yeah.
I watched
it's a new world these days, eh?
Yeah. I watched the guys from Daisy Fresh.
Yeah,
they're insane, man.
Oh man, that was a mean fight. Absolutely.
Same thing, just a little place, you know, little gym, just savage.
Yeah, I thought that was just that was unreal. Have you got aspirations to try to get to a Worlds or a Masters, or I mean I don't even know how old you are to be asking that. So, are you still in the adults bracket?
I'd be Masters these days, but yeah, I've never really had two. I'm kind of real cruisy. Like all this has been a buzz to me. I've never made any plans really, and just kind of go with the flow of it. I like not making plans and just seeing what happens. Things like this. But, you know, I'd love to travel over the Worlds, ADC, anything like that would be pretty cool to check out, compete at. Yeah, I would if I could. And wouldn't be too worried if I don't. I'm just super happy doing jiu-jitsu wherever, man. Like, I love this game. If we get any competitors that, you know, really, really want to, you know, push the envelope, we'd shoot over there in a shot, you know. Yeah, yep.
Nice.
Have you done much traveling around New Zealand to other gyms, or...?
Mainly just the Auckland ones. Not really. No, just pretty insulated, but not you know, just out there, eh? Yeah, mainly the Auckland places. Traveled to Bali and trained at Bali MMA over there. That was really cool. High level stuff over there. If you ever want to pick up some wrestling, that's like a good little corner of the world to go and train. The Leone brothers there. I spent a couple of weeks there with them dudes. They were pretty cool to train with. Real different, you know. It is pretty cool when you're, you know, learning totally different jiu-jitsu from what you're used to.
Yeah, I trained with him in Thailand when he was a purple belt, I think.
Yep,
He's funny, dude.
Yep.
He's tiny.
Yep.
Well, not tiny. I'm not very big. He's my size. It's awesome.
Yeah, shit, yeah. And just sick wrestling, man. Suplexes, we were learning suplexes for the warm-up, you know. It was like, what, this is the warm-up? Suplexes? Shit, man, this is awesome, you know. But yeah, another shout out I'd have to make was to Auckland MMA. I spent a bit of time when I was doing my university degree. I spent a bit of time coaching, and Hamish gave me a little bit of space there to get through my degree at Auckland University of Technology. And so I spent a bit of time there with him and Ev Ting as well, and that was real helpful for me. So shout out to Hamish.
Have you ever had any MMA fight? Or have you ever wanted to?
Not really. I would, but I'm not too worried, to be honest. I came up street fighting with all the skateboard kids. So, we'd been in fights before and we know what it felt like, and know what it is to win and know what it is to lose. I would do it if I thought I'd make a bunch of money doing it. For me, it's just prize fighting. But that's why I love jiu-jitsu. You can make a little living out of jiu-jitsu, not lose too many brain cells, and still be healthy later on in life. But hey, I'd do an MMA fight for charity like that. Anything like that, I'd just jump in. I'm that stupid.
So dedicated.
Yeah. Dedication.
But I probably would have if I was a bit younger. If I'd started a bit earlier, I would be, yeah.
Did you box? When you said you boxed, did you do any fighting for boxing or just training?
Yeah, we just jumped in the ring after about 3 months of boxing training. Man, I've been watching martial arts for as long, the whole time now. So it was fun. It was exactly what I expected. It was, I love boxing. Boxing's fucking fantastic, man.
It's it's good work.
Yeah, cardio is heavy though in the ring, man. Yeah, the cardio is just, that's what I like about jiu-jitsu. You can move, you can stop moving, you can move, you can stop moving. Man, boxing is just pressing. It's nowhere to hide in there.
We went some a couple of years ago, dude's training with us. He's like, I need to drop a bit of weight. How can I drop some weight? I said, I'll just quit jiu-jitsu for a few months to go do boxing. Like, I thought I was skinny doing boxing. Before I started, I was 73 kg's. He tore me down to 67, and I was like, I've got nothing to lose. He's like, I'll fucking make you lose it. I'll make you lose it.
Yeah.
I was fucking fit, though.
Maybe I need to go do boxing training.
You are a box.
But again, I just found jiu-jitsu is just, there's a real fun factor to jiu-jitsu that I, boxing a bit more arduous, a lot more just hitting the bag. The bag's not really hitting back, a lot of heavy bag work. And I love boxing completely, but jiu-jitsu is special for me.
Now, okay, you got a small gym.
It's not very nice.
Oh no, okay, it's not Steve Oliver gym, but no, I want to say you got to. Well, when I went there, you had a really cool crew of people. That's and we've talked. You've mentioned about a small group of people training with and a good crew.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us a wee bit about your team, man. Let's shout out a couple of names because we're all about growing New Zealand Jiu-Jitsu. So. Who you got at the gym that got to watch out for in the next few years, or you just think, man, this boy's got a bit of talent. You got to,
Yeah, well, Matt Gilbert would be, numero black belt. Matt's been around the scene for a wee while. I think he started at Dunedin maybe as well, 13, 14 years, something like that. So he was in that Dunedin crew all the way up to Auckland, then back down to Nelson. So funnily enough, we kind of traveled these same trajectories, all the way up to Auckland, spent a bunch of years there, 10 years or something up there training, and then back to little old sleepy old Nelson. So he's been a real godsend for me. Good hard training and just still old school. There's never an easy round. We ain't resting. We're not playing. It's a scrap every fucking time. And I love that. I feel like there's a real honesty in that. And Ataqua Duplo, which is in Florianópolis, Brazil. That's where Douglas and Pedro are from. And I feel like that's been passed down like a generational thing from them to me or to us. And I think I was in Nelson for maybe 3-4 years there, and I was kind of losing that a little bit, training a little bit too easy. My training partners weren't maybe pushing me as hard as they needed to. And so as soon as Matt came back, he just reminded me, that's what pressure is. That's what you scrap for. Sweet, you've got to fight for that dime, So yeah, for me, Matt Gilbert's, probably one of my best training partners for sure. Jamie Sumner, you have to get him on here for sure. He's my low vision athlete. He's a total Viking, 66 kg. He's won the nationals a couple of times now, I think, gi and no gi, and I think he has a sub only as well. I coached him and he was probably one of my better, I coached the blind guy to win the nationals. So that was a big feather in my cap as far as everyone else is concerned, because after Jamie won the nationals once or twice, gi and no gi, and I think a sub only as well, he might have got second in that. I saw it on a bunch of these other guys' faces where they were like, what do you mean? Jamie won the nationals. I could have done that,
Yeah.
And it was just, he did it, mate. And it was all down to his hard work, dedication.
Yeah.
I believed in him. He believed in himself. We made him wear the medals and the gi back on the plane. We just, and he's a man of his word, and he wore the gi on the plane. And couldn't be more proud of him. So yeah, Jamie Sumner's still coming up, blue belt now. He'll be chasing that purple down soon. 66 kg fighter. Definitely one of my best training partners. And then we've just got a bunch of just cool people, friends. We've got Jesse Fitzwater is probably our next up and coming guy. He's an 86er, or he thinks he's 74, but he's 86. He's just got his blue belt. He's just coming off a surgery at the moment, but he's pretty high.
Yeah,
hard roll.
I think he's a young fella and he's won the tattoos. I think
I
might have wrestled him last. He's a good boy, that one.
Yeah, and he's just starting to figure out the nuances of the game. You can't rush into it too much, and you can't stand back too much. You got to be right in the thick of it.
It's all timing.
Timing. You guys know, of course. Apart from that, we've got. It's been such a weird year this year with the whole COVID thing. So. We've just been training for the sake of training. Usually we've got a proper competition thing going. We probably would have been on our 4th competition by now. So, have a few more names to just throw up there. But because it's just been such a lackluster year. But
we'll talk about that stupid van, Buck. Like I say, you're from Nelson. You got a good crew of people.
You're Double Browns.
What?
No, this is a urban Naut.
Bro, don't you know? Like Nelson's like the king of like craft beer, man. They got like every kind of like thing you can think of.
This is a champagne IPA.
Oh,
pinky up.
How did you lose any people through that time that may have just been starting? Have you had a good bounce back from now that we're in level 1? Like, how's it going?
Yeah, we felt very lucky, to be honest. Basically, we had a small bubble before the bubble, so we had sort of 10 training partners that were coming regularly. So even when we had to be in a bubble, it was really just our team. So we were lucky enough to to have it be manageable. We're in a good space as far as rents and stuff like that. So we weren't too over leveraged or overextended on that. And everyone loved kind of sitting at home for the first week, and then it was pretty misery after that. So when everyone came back on board, there was a good vibe to, they actually knew it was important for them after a month of not actually being able to train, or 6 weeks. They, the ones that knew really treasured it, or, like myself, I was just like, man, I am happy to train. That was average. I mean, even though you can go for a bike ride, go for a run, lift weights in the garage.
Can't unbar your bike.
No, exactly, mate, exactly. And so we were lucky enough that we had a small crew. We kind of just chatted it out and checked on everyone. And as soon as we could get back into small group training, we were away. But again, the vibe and the momentum was a bit shifted. And we're just picking back up now, really, sometimes on the way. But as far as looking at things internationally, we just felt real gifted. Tukaha was shut down up in Auckland multiple more weeks than we were. So we actually felt a bit, felt like kind of like the fat kid eating the cake when we were, posting photos of us training and after training, and then, the boys up in Auckland can't even go to training, and we're like, oh shit, feel a bit rude, but hey, here we are, smart,
We're doing it for you.
Yeah, exactly, mate, exactly. And that was actually the vibe we wanted to put out. Hey, you guys will be back to training in no time. But yeah, we just, it couldn't have come at a worse time as far as we were just setting up our new sort of digs and all that sort of stuff. But hey, ain't that life, if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing. So
yeah, that's
big
right.
risk, big reward.
Yeah, exactly, brother. Exactly it.
Oh, look, hey, yeah, bro, have you got anything else you want to ask, Bryan?
No, I was just going to get into the traveling bit, but you're like, I'll roll, and I'll just take on who I take on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Pretty lame
Yeah.
thing to do, bro.
Totally, folks. Totally. That's why this is all like a big dream for me, because I never really set high expectations for myself or anything. I just feel lucky to be in the position that I am, and to know the people that I've met, and to be fully functioning and healthy fighter, and just I just love it. And that's kind of what I try to portray as far as my heart goes, and wear my heart on my sleeve. And I just want to inspire other people to just go forward, and look to the horizon, and just go that way.
Do you have any like goals to train, like some of the guys like from Douglas's gym? Like, did you train with Ashley Taylor? Ash in it?
Yep, I did. Yep,
Yeah, like,
in the beginning. Yep, first like 3-4 years. Yep.
Do you have like goals to go over there? Want to train with him or anything? Because he'd be first degree nearly now.
Shit, yeah. Oh, mate, I'd love to catch up with all those guys. I mean, there's just so many good training partners from up there. The black belts, Serge Morel, Kula Falau, and Stuart and Ian Marshall, and just all these guys that just sprinkled on jiu-jitsu, just help me. I just take a lot from them, and more than the techniques or anything, it's just the heart and the heartiness, because that's what I remember about them. I remember the laughs, and I remember the stories, and I remember the characters that they bring to the game. And more than anything, that's what I vibe off. And I just feel really lucky to have shared these crazy training rooms with these freaking animals, because it was good fun, and it was good heart. And I feel like they put me on a good steed, and I have to kind of honor that whole flag and that whole tradition and that whole that whole vibe.
Yeah, definitely. Because he's with his job for Qantas. I put the scissors down, so they're playing with scissors.
Whoa, bro, this is down, man. We're just talking.
With his job with Qantas and that, he trained all around the world. Like, because I went over to Melbourne and played.
Totally.
I trained at Devines with him. So it was Peter Devine was coaching us. Then we had Graham Johnson. I was like, fuck these dudes. Peter Devine's one of the Dirty Dozen. Right on the cusp of it and stuff. So I was like, this is
it's crazy.
And it's all through people like Alex. I grew up with Ash as a kid and stuff, with doing karate and stuff. Don't say it, Hayden.
I say nothing, mate.
Yeah. So like you said, it's bringing everyone back together, and it's like going full circle, but you're doing this bigger circle because now it's jiu-jitsu, and it's massive.
Totally, man.
I need the scissors for that.
It's one of those things. I remember they'd say, how long does it take an average person to get a black belt? And it was like, average person doesn't get a black belt, and I kind of believe in that, and it's these sort of people that, all these years later, I remember, Ash was a purple belt, and I think I was a white belt, and, would be like, oh, wow, holy moly. But man, honestly, that whole room I know is pretty much all black belts now, it's amazing. They've just kept at it. They kept that good energy, they kept that good vibe, and traveled the world and kept on training. And, it's just, it's super cool.
Nice. Well, look, what I'm going to do is, I think it's my turn to hit out a couple of questions here before we we end this kind of chat and save it for another time. So I'm not sure if you watch this episode. So what we do, we'll watch the podcast.
We haven't filmed it yet, you dickhead.
We have 5 questions. Okay. And we're just going to hit it out there. Okay, first question. Do you prefer gi or no gi?
Both. 50-50, literally. Love it. Love
30-50, okay.
Yeah.
Second
In fact,
question.
my last team was called No Gi and Gi, and that was the one that I made. Because I'm both, man.
Actually, I'd like to say I actually do like competing in no gi, but I love my gi. But
yeah, most people like to choose one. I love them both. I honestly see them as the one thing.
Yeah, nice. Okay, second question: open guard or closed guard?
Closed, old school.
Oh, I actually thought you guys said open.
Woo!
Yeah, brother, old school, man, old school.
I like
Oh,
that.
gee.
Favorite video game?
Ooh, Street Fighter.
Ooh.
Hyper Edition. Old school.
Oh.
So yeah, Bryan would ask you your favorite character around it.
Ryu.
Oh, no, because Ken would double hit the kicks. Rue was a single hitter.
Yeah, I just like his outfit.
Yeah. I nearly bought a PlayStation controller that was Rue like this, and you just sit them in there. I haven't even got a PlayStation. Nice. My kids have got it. It's for them. I just was going to steal it.
Whatever. Favorite submission?
Cross collar choke, the gi, RNC, no gi.
Oh, nice. Okay, our famous last question. Do you wash your belt?
Not even once.
Oh, old school.
Old school, brother. Not even once.
Oh, look, Bryan's given up, mate.
I'm not training with you guys now.
Bryan's given up on the whole thing. I reckon he wants to keep changing our last question now because he just.
If you need a tip, you get that dead old spray. You spray it and you hang it in the sun. Not washing it, but it's.
Oh, nice. Hey, look, thank you very much for coming on.
No worries, guys. Thanks for the invite.
No, that's all right, mate. Before we leave, though, let's hit us out. Where are you in Nelson? So people know if they're traveling around, where they can hit you up.
Yeah, hit us up on Facebook, Corey Boland on Facebook, Bolands on Instagram. We're located at 89 Vanguard Street, Nelson. If you just type in Jiu-Jitsu Nelson into Facebook, something will pop up. Follow the videos down the rabbit hole. Always keen to train, always keen to cross-train, always keen to catch up. If anyone wants to learn some self-defense or anything like that, we can do all of this sort of stuff. Strength and conditioning as well for athletes and fighters for sure. But yeah, just come and say hello.
Now, if you want to catch up with them, now what number was it? 89? 89
Vanguard Street.
Now it's 89 Vanguard Street, okay? The reason I say that is because there's two other jiu-jitsu schools on that same street, but they're not Kikaha. Okay,
that's
so
right.
You make sure if you want to get there, it's above the CrossFit gym. It is a wee bit tricky to find. If you're driving up it, I've got to get this right. If you're driving from town going up, it's on your left-hand side.
Correct.
And it's at the back. So, yeah, make sure you hit them up. And if you're in there for a few days, there's the other clubs as well if you feel like you want to go to the other ones. But make sure you hit up to Kaha in Nelson.
Absolutely.
Corey and the boys would be awesome to have you along. Thank you very, very much for spending Friday night with us. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really appreciate it, mate. And hopefully we might see some of your boys or yourself in Christchurch in the end of October.
Yeah, I'll see you on the
Christchurch.
What
is it? Is it the Christchurch Champs or something?
20th of October for you, Bryan.
Yeah, 20th, 21st. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And then
all the best. What's the comp? 31st, eh?
Yeah, 31st.
Halloween.
In Christchurch, I think it's the Canterbury or Christchurch Champs. To the boys that are competing at the South Island Mana Championships.
Yep.
The two boys from my gym, James and Logan, all the best. For all the other boys competing, all the best. Best of luck to you. We're getting back into a little circuit for the end of the year. So it'd be pretty awesome to see how we'll get some results for next week. And,
that's right. Cool.
Put them up. So awesome. Thank you very, very much again, Corey. Good work, mate.
Cheers, boys.
All right. Thank you, man. Sweet.
Us.
Us.
Who's his brother's
Still updated. It's changed.